Join me as I dive into the complex situation in Israel and challenge myself to understand why the Prime Minister is pushing the military to keep fighting despite calls for a ceasefire. Today, we're witnessing a dramatic turn of events in the ongoing conflict in Israel. Just hours ago, the Israeli Prime Minister made a bold decision to defy a ceasefire agreement, ordering the military to continue their operations despite mounting international pressure to stand down. This move has left many wondering what's behind this decision and what it means for the future of the region. The implications of this decision are far-reaching and potentially devastating. By rejecting a ceasefire, the Prime Minister is essentially choosing to prolong the violence and put more lives at risk. This not only endangers the lives of innocent civilians caught in the crossfire but also undermines the trust and credibility of Israel's government in the eyes of the international community. The decision has sparked outrage and concern among world leaders, many of whom are urging Israel to reconsider its stance and work towards a peaceful resolution. Moreover, this decision has significant implications for the local communities affected by the conflict. Many have already been displaced, and their families torn apart by the violence. Continuing military operations will only worsen their plight, leaving them to wonder when they'll ever be able to return to their homes and rebuild their lives. The humanitarian crisis is already severe, and this decision will only exacerbate it. As the violence escalates, the international community is watching with bated breath, wondering what's next. Will other countries get drawn into the conflict, or will they be able to maintain their neutrality? The outcome is far from certain, but one thing is clear: the stakes have never been higher. The consequences of this decision will be felt for years to come, and it's up to us to stay informed and demand that our leaders work towards a peaceful resolution. The Israeli government has long maintained that its military actions are necessary to protect its citizens from the threat of terrorism. While this may be a valid concern, many argue that the brutal methods employed by the military are disproportionate and unjust. The use of airstrikes, for example, has led to the deaths of countless civilians, including women and children. Is this really an effective way to combat terrorism, or is it simply a form of collective punishment? Behind the scenes, military strategists are working around the clock to develop new tactics and strategies to outmaneuver their enemies. This is a cat-and-mouse game, with each side trying to outsmart the other. The Israeli military is one of the most advanced in the world, but its opponents are cunning and determined. As the conflict rages on, we're seeing a new type of warfare emerge, one that's characterized by stealth, sabotage, and psychological manipulation. It's a war of nerves, where the enemy is often invisible and unpredictable. History tells us that conflicts like these rarely have clear-cut winners or losers. Instead, they often end in a stalemate, with both sides exhausted and battered. The question is, what will be the legacy of this conflict? Will it be remembered as a heroic struggle for independence, or a brutal and misguided war that achieved nothing but destruction and chaos? The answer lies in the hands of the leaders, who must ultimately decide whether to pursue a path of peace or continue down the road of war. One thing is certain, however: the words and actions of the Israeli Prime Minister and military leaders will be scrutinized and parsed for days to come. Every statement, every decision, and every move will be analyzed and debated by pundits and policymakers alike. Take, for example, the Prime Minister's recent statement that we will not be intimidated by our enemies, a bold declaration that's been seen by some as a defiant rejection of diplomatic efforts. Or the military leaders' warning that all options are on the table, a veiled threat that sent shivers down the spines of many. In conclusion, the situation in Israel is dire and complex, with far-reaching implications for the entire world. The Prime Minister's decision to defy a ceasefire has raised the stakes and ignited a firestorm of controversy. As we move forward, it's essential that we stay informed, stay vigilant, and demand that our leaders work towards a peaceful resolution. Remember to share your thoughts in the comments below, subscribe for more updates on this developing story, and be sure to check out our video on the roots of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, a topic that's more relevant now than ever. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.